I'm going to break down the why behind every modification, whether we make it harder to do the exercise or easier to do the exercise. Doesn't matter which one you're capable of. It matters how you do the exercise and get the most out of the exercise. I think that's a really important point because some people do harder core exercises because they're hard, but they don't train their core. That's not going to be you today. All right. Let me know, by the way, in the comments where you're from. I want to say hello as we go along here. Anyways, so first up, I'm going to go with the side plank. Side planks, a lot of variations of side planks. I'll bring this over here in a second. But let's go over just the do's and don'ts. So number one, I'm going to get down and go over the side plank. We always unstack the feet. Okay, I have black on the black shoes and the black floor. So you're probably looking at this like I can barely see this. So unstack the top foot on front. Why? We got a 10% of my weight distribution of this leg pushing down into the ground. That's on purpose. I'll show you from here. Okay, so I'm pushing down. I want the adduction happening from the adductors. And while we do core exercises, that helps you to feel like you get a little bit more out of your core, and you're also working on your alignment. A lot of times when people stack their feet, they're a little passive with that top foot. We don't want that. So that's exercise number one. Now, what if that exercise for you is a little difficult? That's okay. And or here's the other thing. If you feel that in your shoulder, I'm going to elevate your shoulder. Don't care about the elevation. And we're going to still do that side plank. And if anything, now you're like, oh, this I feel, but it's almost too easy. Great. Add the drop. Okay. So by exposing the obliques to a little bit of length, the side plank becomes a little more distinctly effective. Okay. And I think what I feel is a little bit more core engagement. I hate that phrase, but now I know what the side plank is, and the purpose of the side plank, I can get more out of that exercise. So that is the regression. That's exercise 2, okay, that we're showing you. The original side plank, working on getting up into the shoulder elevated using the bench, box, some sort of elevation. If, by the way, you're feeling it in your arms still, like it's still too much arms, not enough in your core, you might have to do arm extended. Sometimes that happens. So a lot of variations there. Now, third exercise. This is the hardest one, okay? We're going to go a feet elevated side plank with a hip drop. Too many words, not enough, not working. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stack my feet. Once again, top foot's in front, okay? I have the rear foot elevated squat stand from Perform Better, the adjustable one. And so I'm going to go ahead and get both feet up, all right? I'm going to drop and then back up. We're exposing, I'll show you both sides here. We're exposing the obliques to a whole lot of range of motion. But what's the limiting factor if you've just started working out and or training upper body? Your upper body, right? Because you have half your upper body that you're being supported on, or you're supporting half your upper body, and then the rest is on your feet. So the shoulders can, if they're not stable enough, be a limiting factor. All right. So just to review, side plank, we have 3 different versions. Regular, on the floor. Key point, unstack your feet. Second, if the side plank is too much shoulder on the ground, let's elevate the shoulder. Let's take the shoulder out of it. See if we can add more oblique recruitment without the shoulder being a limiting factor. Then if you've mastered those, then let's move up, okay? And let's add a little bit different of a challenge called the side plank hip drop with the feet elevated. So that's the third version. That is technically what we're looking for in our March workout. That is exercise number 1. Number 2, let's go over the landmine. The landmine, just a fancy name for the attachment. Basically, it's a barbell. This is a 7-foot bar. And what I'm going to do here is really rotate my shoulders and T-spine. For a lot of people, even when they do chops, they're missing out on that ingredient. So what I'm going to do is get you to feel and see how much torso rotation actually happens. This is not a torso rotation, right? You guys can see that because you're looking from the side. But a lot of people, when they do these, they think, all right, I got it. Like, no. we got to get torso rotation. So what I want to see is now you can almost see, you can basically see the logo on my shirt, okay? So the bottom position here with my back foot and toe pointing towards you, the camera. I'm going to initiate the turn back with my hips to drive back, let that torso rotation happen, and then brace and then come back. So I'm really, really trying to create this separation between the hips and the shoulders while getting true spinal rotation. That's a really important concept. So here and then here. Now, if this bar is too much, a couple options. This might be an 8-foot bar. If the bar is too much, what you're going to do is switch to a 7-foot bar. 1, 2, there's 25-pound bars. Those are usually like 6 feet. You can learn on that. There's other options too, including the same modality, meaning the landmine. I'm going to go over that right now. So this is called an anti-rotation, which is weird because it's technically rotating. But I'm going to say you're going to turn again, turning the shoulders, and then turning the shoulders and the spine. Okay, so we call it anti-rotations because you're not dropping all the way down. So you're actually learning to resist the rotation as the object, in this case the bar, is being dropped to shoulder height. So we call those anti-rotations. I might want to rethink that labeling, but that's another option. Now, let's say you're still not getting it, you're feeling it in your low back. What do you do then? So the cable rotation for me, or the band, there's a lot of ways here, but I think to get people to feel rotation is sort of complicated, but I like to eliminate the hips down because too many people, when they do cable chops, I'm not really doing spine rotation. I'm just rotating my feet, right? So the idea here is to really actually learn spinal rotation. So I'm going to go down on one knee here. I'm just going to get this. You can also do it kneeling. You can do it seated. But now, if I start and get this band rotating outside over here, how's that going to look, right? I'm probably actually too far out. So as I turn, right, there goes that logo again. I want to see that logo really change, right? And I want to be able to fight that band the entire time. So really important concept. But the actual amount of rotation that we're looking for from the T-spine, from the shoulders, right? We want this. That's basically sport. Whatever sport you're playing, we need to be able to do that. So that's going to be our 3 different versions out of there. So to review, we went over side plank, we went over the feet elevated side plank with the hip drop, we went over the shoulder elevated side plank. All are very, very effective versions of the side plank. Then we went over the landmine rotations, and then landmine anti-rotations. If the landmine isn't available or it's bothering you back, also went over what I would consider a better chop pattern out of the half kneeling. Then let's go over my third exercise for today. Everyone knows the dead bug pattern, the dying bug pattern. I want to get you to feel what's called the cross-body dying bug. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the cross-body dying bug first. All right. So I'm going to go and actually I'll even go one step further. I'm going to say a dying bug in my head is both elbows to both knees and then back here. Okay. So same side opens. Okay. I'll show you on this side. 1 and 2. All right. So I'm opening while keeping tension, but opening only on one side. That's in my head, the dying bug. Now we're going to do the crossbody. So this is where it gets interesting. And for a lot of people, this pattern of cross, elbow to opposite knee, and then supporting your head, okay, is hard. So getting this length and learning how to cross that midline with your torso and create a cross-body compression through the abs is difficult. And then you'll see I actually have a little tougher time right to left as opposed to left to right, okay? So one of the things that people can not feel when they do this is the connection between the elbow to knee. We actually need that tension to be created. That's part 1. Part 2, if you can't create it because they don't have that range of motion, some people don't. Their rib cage is not flexible. If they don't, we're going to shorten that distance. So I'm going to use the yoga block. You can go lengthwise, you can go widthwise, and then you can go heightwise. Did I say that right? Anyways, so I'll do this and teach people sometimes here. So now they're still creating that tension, okay, with the yoga block. If it's easier, I'm still going to go ahead and get that tension because I want them to feel like they're putting tension on that block. So just to review, regular dying bug, that's a good start. But sometimes we're ready to go up and challenge ourselves. 2, crossbody dying bug, how to do it and what other modality. And I like the yoga block. The third thing that you can do to make this exercise infinitesimally harder, this is very hard. I'm almost reluctant to show you because it's that hard, is the band resisted crossbody dying bug. These are nasty. So what you're gonna do, same thing, crossbody dying bug, elbow to opposite knee, but now I have a band that I'm holding and then it's pulling me out of the crossbody position. And you really can't go faster than this. You're gonna want to, but hold that position. So once again, crossbody dying bug. How do you do it? How do you do a regular dying bug? What are the benefits of dying bugs? I think a lot of times people come from Pilates or they don't know the Pilates stuff, but the idea is to get a relationship and a better relationship between like a drawbridge, right? You need both parts of the drawbridge to be in alignment before the car can drive over. And similarly, for a lot of people to get that feeling that they're really working their core, you need the rib cage and the pelvis to be in alignment. So for me, the dead bug is a foundational movement pattern that allows us to step up into other movement patterns and to take that breaking or not breaking of that pattern and find out where it's weak and or find out where we can strengthen it and or find out how that's creating pain. So the dead bug itself is a phenomenal tool. A lot of physical therapists love it. A lot of trainers, coaches, strength coaches love it. And it can be foundational at its core level, haha, pun intended, but it can also be an exercise where you can progress up and it can be really, really hard. So yeah, that's the idea. 9 exercises, all core. I hope this was super helpful. I'm going to be back in about 5-10 minutes going over strength exercises. So different exercises, but strength exercises. This is just part of our workout series, reviewing maybe going and making the exercise easier, but also making the exercise more difficult in order to change up the complexity for the client. So have a great day. Talk to you soon.